Good afternoon. Thank you. On this particular session, the previous topics are concerned. In the last classes, we studied about the performance and how this particular human resources management practices are going to be there. So we will have a link from the previous classes. So now let us proceed with the next further aspects in this. And already organizational design concept also already we discussed in the previous class. So organizational design is the process for the shaping the organization and the structure and run in a many different aspects like life at work, including the team formations, various decision-making procedures, and communication channels like upward communication and downward communication process and so on. And all these aspects put together, they will come under the organizational design. So actual organizational designs, it is functional organization structure, multiple divisional function, that is where the organization contains a company may manufacture types of products. Then in divisions, say for example, coming under the Samsung, like that. Different divisions will be there in the organization, and on the basis of that, how they are working. Organization structure is this line structure. And in case of matrix, as and when we study matrix structure, we talk about this is associated with the matrix form, that is row. For each product, there is a separate stream or separate line of organizational design and so on. And other peculiar team-based designs, networking designs, and so on. These are the various organizational designs. And then we understood about when we completed this one, then the job analysis and job design. I hope this is also in the previous. This is the process of studying and collecting the information relating to a particular operation and the responsibility of a specific job structure, and so on and so forth. Job description is organized as a factual statement of facts. So in the job analysis, we are going to study about what is the various aspects that are relating book or other job analysis and job design component. It is the process of recruitment and selection and other important aspects. We come into the job description aspect. Job description basically tells us about the way, what are the duties, what are the responsibilities, perform better, and what is the standards of performing the job and so on. Then coming to also slightly introduced into the student community in the last class. Number 6, we can refer to the page number 89, balance between the manpower resources need and also what are required. This is another important element. So you all the students are required to open page number 89 of your material book. So which contains the elaborate discussion about the manpower requirement, manpower planning process, and so on and so forth. that is called as human resources planning, which is also what is the difference between a manpower planning and uh, manpower recruitment. Whenever we are process of calling the people into the process of identifying the gap between the is required for the workforce in the how many people are required for the purpose of performing the job in the organization. All these aspects are taken into consideration in the case of. Then coming to the next slide, factors affecting human resources planning. This is a very important human resources planning aspect, and this is given in the two sets actually. In the given page number 97, I request all the students to go through the factors affecting human resources planning aspect. In the page number 6.5 is a paragraph number, which is the most important element. There, the different factors are subdivided into internal factors, external factors, and so on and so forth. First is corporate governance planning and growth cycle, in which stage it is, in which stage the organization is at present, and how the organization is growing further, and what are the rate at what rate considered. Second important point, additional points I'm giving you along with the material aspects, that is outsourcing aspect. Nowadays, almost all the companies are, what are the various out is that the various factors that is said to be mostly outsourcing is the basic. So when a particular job will be totally outsourced, when you are a specific job, then definitely organization or outside agents, then it will be better to take the benefits from them. For example, audit. Organization point a chartered accountant for the practices, audit practices and all agencies. So then environment uncertainties are also there. Normally environment or every day, then it's just planning aspect is also to be changed over. So absolutely during the corona aspects and all, then in such a case we understood. So when during the corona period, every employment or integration of the online activity, then in such a case, when a particular activity is carried out on online activity, less number of human resources, there is more number of just a minute. Right. So more number of technical equipment, and then less number of human manpower is required. As a result of that, there is a lot of problem in the employment aspect also. But at the same time, the process of skilled workers is also taken into very important consideration. There is a lot of demand for the skilled employees immediately after the post-corona period. So organizations are planning for the manpower planning process, giving a high priority for the purpose of considering the manpower element. Manpower once recruited, it cannot be possible to avoid them in the organization process is a very difficult process. Employees normally they don't like. Even if some employees are terminated, definitely it will have a severe effect over the organizational motivation factor. So normally organization don't to have written field. Whenever we are talking about nature of job, type of people are required for filling up of the particular job is also very important. If you are recruiting a lower level employee, ample number of applicants will be there. You can select, you can screen them, either highly skilled, not possible. Tomorrow you can train them, or tomorrow, if not required, you can also say goodbye to them. But in the case of if you are filling the post at a higher level, then definitely higher amount of planning aspect is also to be considered. So how long their services are required? How many people are represented there? All the type of information available about the particular job is also an important factor which is going to affect. Well, if in case of new jobs or newly designed activities or newly designed jobs, then in such a case, the availability of information about that particular job is also very, very low. Say, for example, in case of retail marketing, when a firm is newly entering into online marketing aspect, then in such a case, they don't know about what type of job practices they need. Then they always, whatever the information that is available, that is also to be considered. And whatever the information that is not available, that is also a major influencing factor for the purpose of HR planning aspect. So along with that, I request all the students to go through this particular aspect in this. So process of human resources planning also, we will go now at a stage and then we'll go for that. Process of human resources planning basically talks about organizational analysis. So there in the this is there in the page number 98 of your study material. I request those students who are following this class, request to join for the class directly. You can ask doubts or you can it will be a motivating factor with the faculty members, even though you are very far distance from the Hyderabad locality. So okay, even though I am telling you very clearly on the page number side also, paragraph number 6.6, that is process of human resources planning, very, very important question as far as examination point of view is concerned also. Organizational analysis. First of all, while doing the human resources planning aspect, analyze the organization. So what type of organization it is, whether it is a service nature, or it is a marketing nature, or it is a trading nature, what type of organization it is. Analyzing the objectives of the manpower planning, with what objective you are going to analyze, with what objective you are going to hire the people, with what objective you are going to do the planning for the manpower that we are going to study right now. Forecasting the demand for the manpower. What will be the demand for the manpower that is to be first of all forecasted? That is how much will be the gap. Then forecasting the supply of manpower is also very, very essential. Matching the demand and supply. Then match the demand with the supply aspect. Review and monitor the progress with this. These are the another important aspects in this. Actually, this lesson is from the block 2, but it is very, very important lesson. First of all, I am covering about the important lessons and analysis of the other lessons. So kindly try to understand, and so that you will have this particular aspects, which are very key, important elements in the forthcoming examination. Paragraph number, page number 6.3. That is purpose objectives of the human, the page 95. The main important purpose of human resource planning is to HRP planning provides human resources required to the expansion, retirement, and also separation, re-registration, transfers, promotions, mobility, etc. Idea about how many people and what will be the practices for them, how much should be paid, and all that. HRP avoids delays, postponement of plans due to shortage of people. When a particular person is going to retire in a very short span of time, then in such a case, if you have a manpower plan, organization will be ready with the human resource. Whenever a person is retired, immediately you can go with the another person who is already ready with the training also. then that is very, very important. Internet, it helps in the developmental aspect. So organization aspect, it always helps for the development and the continuous necessary with the organization. Organization is it only with one person? Yes, definitely. If an employee is a key employee in the organization, if he retires, definitely to bring a lot of training, it requires a lot of gestation period for the organization also. Say, for example, these aspects are always in the very higher level of the management, that is director sales or vice president or corporate vice president. Then where the strategic roles are performed by a person, then it's a case, it is very, very important. Then what are the main objectives of the human resources planning practice? That also we will consider now. So to recruit and retain the human resources at the required quantity and quality, that is how many people are required, how many people are needed, people are required. To foresee the employees turnover and make arrangements for the minimizing the over and filling up the consequent. So in the case of human resources planning, we will go by the forecasting aspect. How many people may resign from the organization? Or if the organization is facing a lot of organization, there will be some sort of problem. Okay, of course, there may be. If the people are going and coming an organization, then it's how many people may be going out of the organization in this present time. To assess the surplus, paragraph number, page number 96 and paragraph number 6.3. All the students please try to understand this one. To estimate the cost of the human resource. Actually speaking, recruitment is very costly. We know that we coming. No, that's all. That's not so easy to find a right man for the right job. In the very beginning, I told you, my human resources management itself is the main important task of that is to understand, is to establish a right person for the right job at the right time, at the right cost, and so on and so forth. These are the very, very important essential elements. Then, coming to the benefits of human resources planning, this is given to you in the, you please refer to that. So the main important will be checks the corporate plan of the organization. So whenever human resources planning is correctly executed, it offsets uncertainty and a change resistance. So people may change, but when one's planning is perfect, then whoever comes into the organization, they'll follow the particular practices. It provides a scope for the advancement and development of the employees is taken care of in a prompt way, then it encourages the employees to proceed further, progress further, and all the employees will try to go for the higher and higher levels of organizational hierarchy. Anticipate the cost and salary enhancements. So when the organization is going to have, then in such a case, always people will go with a higher salary, how they can enjoy the benefits well, so that they will be loyal to the organization in broadly sense. So it causes the development of various resources, digital needs. So these are the various objectives in the human resources aspect. So with this, I complete the aspect in the block 3, that is unit number 10. Already I told you, I am covering about the most important lessons in each block first. Then I will cover it. So in this block 3, the most important lesson that is coming under training and developmental aspect. So in this particular aspect of training and development, so what is to learn, what are the various types of training, and so on. Just let me take a simple. Set 2, first March. Thank you. Then let us proceed again with that. So whenever we are talking about this one, the unit number 3, that is training and developmental aspect in this. If we go for the training and developmental aspect in this particular lesson, what is the meaning of that? What is the difference between education, training, development? We are same, but there is a lot of difference within among them. Need and importance of training, objectives of training, and training and learning. What is the difference between these two? Training policies, principles, process of training, and various methods of training. This is the most important lesson. Essentially, it is appearing in the most of the examination question papers. Essentials of successful training aspect. Recent trends in the training aspect. These are the up to here. It is said to be need and importance of the training aspect. What is the need for the training aspect, first of all? Any employee who joined in the organization, absolutely right, for the day one, he may not be able to perform the duties perfectly. So definitely he requires a sort of understanding about the methods, what they're following what they're following, and understanding of the culture of the organization, and so on and so forth. This is page number 159. I request all the students to open page number 159 so that you will be able to understand along with me. So in the training process, it is also very, very essential. Training basically provides the organization and employees towards the organizational benefit. So when an employee is trained, then automatically he will perform better than when compared with the untrained employee. So if he knows about how to practice, and if he knows about how to go with the organization, page number 161, it is there referred to that. So training and development aspect. So in that, what is the need for the training? And first of all, it increases the productivity. First of all, it increases the productivity. A trained, then he will be able to do the job better, and definitely he will use all the achieve the desired goals to make more productivity, and at the same time he can do success in each and every job activity. If he is trained HR person, he can recruit a good people, and he can give good training, directing, and coordination activity. If he is a good trainer, then definitely a person who is with a good training, a bit in the production, he can use the machine well and better. The finance, active finances for the better use of the organization. So then boost up the employees, boost up the morale of the employees also. If we are providing training to the employees, people for them, because organization is ready to provide the training for them. Organization is not insisting them to work alone. They are giving certain guidance to them how to work with the highest degree also requires a training aspect. So what is the qualification that is different? What is the work they are doing that is to implement the knowledge, how to implement the knowledge acquired during the process of learning, in the case of training in the job. Then completely, it reduces the organizational complexity, then organizational complexity will increase. Present the organizations are facing a number of problems due to the fastest changes in the technology development. The technology is constantly changing over. Today's technology, it is not there in the tomorrow. So everybody has to learn. Even we are also learning, because we are never go with in the earlier days, there is no question of online platforms and all. Now, almost all the online platforms. So every person has to learn the new technology. And global operations, nowadays it is not restricted to one lane or one source. And every product or every service is entirely global in nature. So that is another important. Then manufacturing of multiple products of no single company is there which is manufacturing alone, but it is going for the different types of products. Even the smallest companies, like even carpet manufacturing companies, are also going for the multiple types of products they are offering. So to reduce the supervision also, we require training. If I train, they will be constantly doing their job in a better, prosperous way. He don't expect the supervisor to correct him. If you know the work, try to escape the work also. Then to match the employee specifications with the job requirements and organizational needs, this is paragraph number 10.3 I am talking about. So to match the employee specifications with the job requirements and organizational needs. Employee specifications are there, employee job requirements are there, and organizational requirements are there. So what is the nature of the employee? What is the characterization? How to bring the employees' attitude towards the organizational requirement, organizational aspects also very, very important in that. And to cope up with the technological advancements also, we need to do training aspect. Whenever a new technology, the organization provide the training to the employees. To minimize the scope of accidents, damages to equipment and machines, etc. A trained production executive always use the machines very carefully so that the number of accidents will be less, number of damage for the machines will be less, and then at the same time, the machines also will be running best and better way practice. A trained employee always will go in a better way with the machines and tools. To ensure organizational stability and flex has to adapt with the natural change, important design to improve human relations. So always human relations is that it improves. When management is most of the organization has to maintain human relations beside that. So training of human relations is necessary to deal with the human problem and also to maintain human relations in a perspective. How to deal with the people? A manager requires a training to understand how to deal with the lower level employees or skilled. So if a person use a rude language, definitely other person will never work and he will definitely try to spoil the work at all. So it may not do the work. So how to deal with what type of people, how to tackle the situation, how to make the people work in a better way. These are in the case of financial aspect also, how much cost of capital can be incurred on that. These aspects are also to be understood by a finance. Like that, actually training is the most important element in the organization culture, right? So these are the various training and objectives of training and need and importance of training also. So this is the most important aspect in that. And what is the difference between training and development? That also a short question may arise in the, it is given the paragraph table number 10 in the page number 164. Training gives technical skills and technical knowledge. So if you want to make a person to know or how to understand about a computer system, that he requires training. Whereas a person wants to be a good manager or he wants to be a good behavioral skills, he must be developmental. Development is basically characterized with the non-technical aspects, whereas specific job related. So how better he can do a job, what is required for performing a job. That means training is job oriented or job specific, whereas development is conceptual and general knowledge availability. So generally a person how he can take a decision and all these aspects that comes under the developmental aspect. And the duration of the training is always a short term duration to 6 months, then whereas development always it takes about a very longer period of time. Normally it goes for the next for 1 year to 5 years also to develop a particular person in a multi-faceted manner. Then for whom the training is given, mostly technical and non-managerial cadre people will be given to taken care of by the managerial aspects. This is another important point. What is so process objectives of learning, and now we are going for the process of learning. So what is actually the process of learning? In simple 3 steps, we can understand the process of learning aspect. First one is listen. So first listen carefully, then understand it. When you understand, then you implement the process. This is the very, very important thing. And understanding makes 50% of the implementation aspect. If a person listen carefully, he will understand about the various aspects in a particular training process. If he totally understand about that one, he will be ready to implement it. He will try to experiment that whatever he learned and whatever he said. So this is one other important area. This is given in the paragraph number 10.5, page number 166. I request all the students to refer parallelly with me, and then it will be easy for that. So there should be simultaneous. First of all, the process of learning. Process in the case of listening, they should learn. Then automatically, once the training is in the learning practices. So, what is learning? According to that, learning is that human process by which skills, knowledge, habits, attitudes are acquired, utilized in such a way that the behavior is completely modified. So, first of all, a person should be ready to learn. Then only he can get training. So I want to learn, I want to listen, I want to understand, I want to implement it. So more mentally he must be ready for the purpose of understanding and implementation of the new things. If a person is totally hesitating to work on a system, on a computer system, he cannot learn it all. First of all, what is required? We must make them to understand about that. Yes, I want to use the computer system. Like that, we must motivate them. Then only we can make them to learn and understand. So there should be a stimuli which is clear to the learner. So there will be one or other aspect which will force him towards learn. In the working setting, unless the employee understand what is management is trying to communicate, he may not move. We can understand that. What is the process of management? How it is done? And what are the various aspects that are related to learning and all. The second one is process of learning. Response means the act of the learner which he has to perform. That is, what is the action he has to perform in the learning. He should be allowed and encouraged to practice and perform responses. First, let him activate. First, let him be active. Whether it is right or wrong, let him be come with the ideology. Then he will come with idea, then accept it, and then take care of the other important element. There should be a motivation or a drive. There can be anything for the try to learn. Just like that, nobody will be interested to learn anything. So in this process, he must have certain have motivational factor to understand a particular concept in that. Just 1 minute. Next. So is very, very important. In the case of principles of learning, all the human beings can learn. All the human beings. Nowadays, even animals are also learning. It is also true. And then, but human being learning is very, very important for us. An individual must be motivated to learn. So first of all, he must have good intention to learn, first of all. So learning should be goal-oriented. Why we are learning? Learning, all these aspects are very, very important. Learning is active but not passive. If that's just like we are telling so many times, if the student is coming to the classes, he will be active. It will be interactive. When interacting session always gives good learning practices. And learning must not be passive. It should not be a passive learning. It should also be. So as Open University is providing good material to you. So that is kind of material is also just hearing is not give any purpose. If I hear, I forget. That is also so this is also one problem. One, if I do, I understand. If I implement, I can easily remember. Then appropriate material should be provided to the practices. So there's nothing can done, or nothing will come all of a sudden. So whenever you are giving a good practice of learning, if you learn now, then implement it, then try to understand it, then finally you alone can do it on the way. To attention and concentration, how much you concentration you are putting in, that is very, very important. These are the various important aspects that is relating to the coming to the other important aspects in this. Then training principles, training process in that. So actual training process. Actually, this is there in the page number, paragraph number 10.7, in the page number 170. So in this, first of all, need analysis is the very, very important aspect. This is not there. So need analysis. What is the need analysis we are going to do? This is given paragraph number 10.7. I request that what is the requirement of providing the training for a particular person? So if there is absolute need is there, then only you have to incur. But training is not so easy. Training is not a very easy task. So if we want to make a human being to learn, it is highly difficult. Instead of you learn from him. That's all. So job specifications and employee qualifications are very much. So to whom we have to provide training? What type of training we need to provide to them? What level of training we need to provide? Like that. In the need analysis aspect, actually job specification, employee qualification. What is job requirement, job specification, what is job description, and along with that, what is the employee skills and how much technical aspects he is able to understand, and the present organizational requirements along with the present manpower deficiency. Is there any people readily, is there any person readily available with that type of skills? Then if we change over the person, automatically the training needs will definitely come down. And anticipation of future requirements is also there. If any company is going to go for a new type of production design, new type of production methods, in such a case, organization needs to employ the training. The next year, if you are going to change the production design, then now itself you have to give the training to the employee. Say, and I can tell you one small thing, even though it's beyond our subject level. In the various two-wheeler manufacturers, like whether TVS, Suzuki, or Hero Motor Corporation, etc., and even in the cars also, whenever a new two-wheeler is going to come into the market, first of all, they will provide a training for the various technicians in that particular company to give a better understanding about what are the technical aspects, what are technical specifications in that. From each service center, one or two employees will be sent for the training to understand about how to repair and fix a particular problem in any sort of a new vehicle. If a new vehicle is released into the market, all of a sudden, if there is a problem for any customer, if that is not solved, the customer will blindly reject that particular product, and it leads to a lot of problems for the company. Then in such a case, if the problem is not fixed or not solved for a customer, then he will give a bad propaganda about that particular product, and finally the product will be a failure. So instead of going up to that stage, from each service center, one or two technicians will be sent for the training to understand about the various technical aspects of this. So identification of specific problem is another one. So why we are providing training? What is the problem if we don't provide training to them? Then how to appraise the performance of the employee and test the examiners. So test the examiners and trainees, how far they are able to understand. Observations and interviews and group conferences, committees and consultations, and all these aspects are how to be conducted. That is called as a need analysis is to be done. Then second one is designing a training program and instructional design also. Designing a training program. Whenever we are going with a training program, so when you have to design what area of training is concentrated. So what is the area of content? What is the area of concentration in the training aspect? And which area we are going to train? So entire process cannot be trained all of a sudden. So if it is 100 pages book, entire 100 pages I cannot make you to understand. Then out of the which part I can make you learn, or which part I can make you train. Like that, specific area only it can be understood. Then key learning principles are to be understood. What are the key learning aspects? And that is another important area. Characteristics of the training. Trainees' characteristics are also very, very important. If they are unskilled employees, the training will be different. Semi-skilled, it is different. So, and they are skilled manpower, then the training process always will be totally different. That is another one. So, third one is validation. When you first design a program, validate that one by means of a, say for example, a test practice, or otherwise you go with a thorough revision of the policy and go on. Then organize the training program. So when you validate, what is the meaning of validation here? Normally, validation means clearly judging whether the particular program will give success or not. How better we can implement that one? That is another one. Organizing the training program. That means okay, when we are when we are happy with the program schedule, then definitely implement it further, and immediately it can be on board. We can give training to them. Then once it is completely successful, then it is happy. Then almost every person who is a training, he will be able to feel success with the training aspect and organizing the training program in that. Use LCD projectors. We are all using nowadays in that. So that is audio-visual programs and LCD screens, giving material, giving them proper instructions and all, like case studies, role plays, business games, which are explained in various stages. If they provide that type of attitude aspects, then definitely the person who is learning, he will feel more interested. Instead of just giving only lecture method, so in that we will come again, what are the methods of training? Instead of giving just a lecture method, we can go for the better practices like using the audio visual aids and at the same time giving a case study and ask them to analyze, and all these aspects will be helpful to them. Then evaluate the training program is another one. When once you conducted the training program, evaluation of the training is very, very important in that particular. What is evaluation of the training program? How better successfully in the implemented? So after imparting the training to the employees, normally evaluation has to take place after 2 or 4 months after putting employees on the job training aspect. First, let them work. First, give them opportunity to work with the new knowledge what they gain. Then how far they are easily able to adapt that particular techniques. Suppose a person who don't know about an Excel sheet, then if I ask conduct a training and tomorrow morning if I conduct a test, definitely he will fail because just listening or just with the training it is not possible. So let him use the Excel sheet for just for 1 week or 10 days, then conduct a test. During the test, how he is able to use that one, what type of new methods and new systems, what he is able to understand, how to give a formula for that calculation, and all he will use on his brain. He will try to understand better while he is using that Excel sheet. Then always the training will help to them. So this is one. And there are 4 different characteristics in that. One is reactions will be there from the employee, that is for every training aspect. And learning always is the another one. There will be a change in the job behavior. There will be a change in the job behavior. Then at the same time, a change in the organization. And finally, ultimate value is another important. These are the various important aspects that what is the need of training. Explain the training need analysis is the very, very important aspect in that. Explain the process of training. What are the various stages in that? How to evaluate the training program? What are the objectives of training? What are the requirements of the prerequisites? How training is different from the development? These are the very, very important elements each and every student is expected to learn and understand. Then coming to the then methods of training is the another important one. That is on the job training methods, off the job training methods. There are 2 sides of training methodologies are there. And this is in the paragraph number 10.8. So all of you are requested to open the page number 172 of your material book. Then you can understand the methods of the training. So in the case of on-the-job training methods, employee is kept on the job. That means he is on the job, what he is going to perform. So that is one thing. And off-the-job training is another one. When it is not possible to train the employee on the job, then definitely we will provide off-the-job training. So in certain cases like key jobs and key performance operations, a doctor cannot make a trial on a patient. Then he will allow the trainee person to perform a look the operation, and then he will ask them to adapt, understand along with him and so on, like a pilot training, etc., etc. So on the job training methodology, first one is apprenticeship training will be provided to them. So in the case of apprenticeship, in the case of apprenticeship, then they will do all the activities what they perform in the job on a trial basis. Then second one is the job rotation. So this normally the job rotation is a very, very important aspect in case of the banking employees. If a person got a posting in the bank, even the right smallest single window operator to the branch manager level, there will be a job rotation process. So first of all, on one day he will be operated with a cash transaction, second day some other activity, third day some other activity. Like that, a job rotation will be taking place, and definitely he will get understanding about different elements or different aspects of the job, and then finally he will get acquaintance with them. Then third one is a coaching. Then so while performing the job itself, a coaching will be provided to them. And finally, job instruction is another one. Job instructions are provided directly while he is performing that particular job. So when he is doing a job, constant interaction, constantly instruct them what to do, how to do, and all. So constant step-by-step instructions will be given by the trainer to the trainee while he is doing the job all the way. Then special projects can be used for the purpose of understanding, and special projects can be used for the purpose of training the employees by putting the job. A special project is designed, and in that a few people or a few trainees will be given opportunity to learn, and then they will go with that. These are the other important. Then committee assignments. Committee assignments, that is also another way of on-the-job training aspect. Then coming to the off-the-job training methods, let us complete this one. Let us go with all these aspects in a fast manner so that we will be able to understand. Off-the-job training methods means the employee is not put on the job directly. He may be asked to get the knowledge by means of vestibule training program actually. So similar conditions will be provided to them. So then he will learn how to do the job. So that is first one is vestibule training program. So a atmosphere is created in such a way that he is just like performing the job, but it's not totally new, the real world. So it is artificially it will be created, and the employee will be asked to do that particular activity. And second one is role playing. That means if a manager role is there, then if you are a manager, how you will perform, how you will take a decision, like that it will be. And a lecture method is another one. So just what we are giving you, that is a lecture method. We will give all the data to you to understand. Then conferences. So various conferences, seminars, webinars, etc. They will provide the knowledge to the trainees, and by learning that one and listening to the expert lectures, then people can learn, the trainees can learn how better they can improve their work environment. And programmed instructions is another one. So continuous programmed instructions in a specific serial order. So step 1 to step 10 or step 1 to step 6, like that it will continue. And a case study is another one. When the employee is using a particular case study, what is actually case study method? They will try to take out a specific case and try to help. In a particular company, this is what happened, this is what happened, and finally it is a result of that. What is the reason for that? Who is the problem there, or how it can be? For example, a change is resisted by a person in a particular company. Then how to adapt that change? In any of the real situation that is given in a printout to the trainee, and he will be asked to take a decision on that, and he can compare the decision later on with actual results and so on and so forth. That is the case study. And incidental method is another one. And films, televisions, etc. Nowadays it is very popular. And computer assisted training aspect is the another important element in this. These are the various training methods which an employee can be provided at the time. So this is in the paragraph page numbers 174 and all. And so what are the various essentials of the training program? What are the various essentials of a successful training program? Let us discuss this small topic, and then we can understand. So when we are talking about essentials of a successful training program, so to make any training program successful, what is required? Focus should be on a real world problem. Not like that, just what is required, what is not required. So if you are giving a training to an employee to work on a machine, so the real world situation must be there in that. That is another one. And learner should be given opportunity to participate actively. So learner must be given on hand to that. Learner must be allowed to touch that machine, operate the machine with the due care and diligence. Then the requirements of the job for which it is intended should be taken into consideration. What are the requirements for that particular job? To what extent the job is to be done? Till what extent it is to be completed? All these aspects must be considered while providing. What is that means? What is the starting point of the job to be done? What is the ending point of the job to be done? What are the various steps that are to be performed while carrying out the particular activity, and so on and so forth. The training needs should be determined properly. So training needs must be training needs must be clearly understandable. Then training for the sake of training is not so good. Just giving a training is not sufficient. Just by providing namesake training is no use at all. Then namesake training is not useful. So when an employee is provided training, it must be useful for them totally. I am giving a providing training that is not so important. To what extent? To what extent the employee is able to learn? To what extent the employee it is benefited to the employee? They like that different aspects also be done then. When it is just like training is given for the name purpose of them, it will not give any good result. Then suitable incentives should be provided to the trainee to make them in the to take the training aspect. Just like that, if you learn, nobody will be ready to learn anything new. If you get the training and if you are able to adopt it one, either monetary benefits or otherwise incentives in the form of cash or incentives in the form of promotion, like that, something must be there for him to gain good benefit of that. Then only he will be ready for it. And top management should take the interest and in support of the training program. All these aspects are very, very important in this. So to say that a training is successful, the employee should be ready to, the management also should be ready to, not only employee, management also should be ready to provide all sorts of opportunities for the employees to learn. Then only it is easy for them. So when we are talking about this one, which is all this training is completely changing out or completely making the people understand this one. So during this class, let us review what we have learned in this one. So this is actually last class coming to that. The process of human resources planning is another one. Then we started with the block 3, unit 10, which is the most important aspect of that in the case of training and development. In this case, we understood about the what is the difference between training and development? Training is basically related to technical aspect, whereas development is basically related to the overall development of the individual, that is managerial capacities. And then coming to the what is the purpose or objective of learning. So learning is basically to understand something in a better way. So when learning is possible, when the employee is ready to learn something, when he is motivated to learn something, when he is interested to learn something. Yes, I want to learn this, I want to make use of this, then he can understand, he can learn something else. So to make him learn, first he must be motivated to learn, and then only it is possible. Then we understood about this need and importance of the training aspect. So what is the need for the training aspect and what is the importance of the training aspect? Then what are the various objectives of training aspect is covered in this particular class. So the need and the training process. So every training aspect must be designed in such a way that to meet the organizational goals. What is total organizational goal? What is divisional goal? Out of that, what are the various skills that are required for an individual, for an employee? Then how to improve his knowledge belt and how to make them aware about new technical skills and so on. And objectives of training is to provide good knowledge on the job performance and what is the job specifications to make an employee suitable for the job specifications and so on. Then we understood about what is the process of training. Then already, as I told you, First listen, then understand, then implement the practice. This is a broader category. Then finally we can go with that other aspects of that. What is the need for the training and what are the various training need analysis? Then how you are providing training, what is the platform you are providing training, to whom you are providing, all these aspects are very, very important in that. To evaluate the training program better and on what basis you can evaluate is also another important factor. Then lastly, we understood about two basic training methods. One is on-the-job training method and off-the-job training method. A job training which is provided directly for putting an employee on the job, then it is called as on the job. When an employee is kept aside of the job and he is given training by any method, that is called as off the job training method. These are the various important aspects in the unit block number 3. So good, all the students. I hope you are able to understand this class better. And in the next class tomorrow, we will meet again. Thank you. Thank you for patience listening on that.